Welcome to the Gur in Fangirl podcast, a podcast where we discuss pop culture and fandom. Each episode, we talk with celebrities, fans, and creators about their work in the media that inspires them. Now here's your host, the creator of the Squee project, filmmaker, fangirl, and feminist, Hansi Oppenheimer.
Hey, it's Hansi from the Squee project, and this is our first episode of the Gur in Fangirl, where we talk to fans and celebrities about their passions. And today we're talking with sociology professor Tanya Cook, who is the founder of Always Keep Nerd Fighting and a huge fangirl. So here we go.
So my name is Tanya Cook. I'm a sociology professor at the Community College of Aurora near Denver, Colorado, and I research fans who do charity work. So what I try to explain is how and why fans are increasingly more charitable and more active in terms of social justice initiatives and social activism. And we're seeing this kind of in multiple fandoms. So there are big fandoms that are well known for charity work, and then there are smaller groups within or affiliated with fandoms, and there are kind of partnerships between different charity organizations and initiatives that we're seeing. And so our task, my research partner Kayla Joseph is a psychologist. Our task is to sort of look at and explain kind of why and how this is happening, using sociological theory and also trying to understand in fans' own words why they do this and what it means to them.
My guess is, for me, fandom is all about community. That's what I love about fandom. And like going to a con, activism is another way that you can, bond and share that experience with them and actually do something really positive and good for the world as well.
Absolutely, and I think what we're seeing is that as fans kind of create those communities and define their own identity, they create a fan identity that includes norms, as we would say in sociology, or behavioral expectations that expect people to go out and act on the values that they share. So in other words, there's kind of a parallel we draw here. We're not saying fandom is a religion, although, Misha Collins kind of famously used our study to troll Jared about starting a cult, Jared Padalecki, but we're not necessarily saying that this is a religion, but there are parallels here when you get groups of folks together in terms of defining common values and then those behavioral expectations that go along with it. So in other words, I can't call myself a fan, right, and not sort of act towards social justice or social good. For some folks, those two things don't go along with one another. So in other words, it's just I'm not just consuming the product or wearing the T-shirt. I have to also act on my values as a fan or a member of that community, whether those are feminist or social justice or racial justice kind of initiatives, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, as you know, my project is, based in feminism and progressive values, as well as, representation and diversity. And I think, in fandom, you can find a lot of people who agree and will support that you might not be able to reach in other places. And media is so powerful for that. If you, watch a show, that has, a clear sense of good and evil, or, that can also, I think people bring that into their real lives. What would you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's been I'm focused a little more on the sociology or the social group interaction aspect, but our theories are going to be slightly different than some of the kind of more acafandom or the kind of psychology-based folks who look at individual identity formation. So absolutely, I do think that's happening, though, from our interviews. Folks say what inspires them. So we focus, just to be clear, and then I'll go more into your question, we focus more on the actual communities and those expectations than we do like what it is about the product. But I don't disagree with that. From what I've read and my own personal experience as a fan is that seeing those values enacted and then feeling like you want to kind of create that in the world and recognizing you can through this power, that is something extremely empowering and motivating. And finding a group of like-minded folks, there's almost no other substitute for that feeling. And I think social media, right, plays a role here too, in that fandom has always been able to find ways to build community through diverse locations and various geographic distance, but social media has just made that so much faster and so much easier, that now, a tweet can go out and within minutes, seconds, someone has support. Someone gets reactions from other fans to help them through the day or with whatever is going on with them. So that just speeds things up a great deal. So I think I kind of went all over the place there, but absolutely, I think seeing those positive examples plays a huge role, and looking at recognizing something about these shows, right? Something about these products, whether they're TV, movies, even kind of video games, and whatnot, creates this sense of moral value for us, and we want to take that energy we have that we get from interacting with each other, and we want to put that into good works in the world. So some notable fandoms that are very, very charitable, I'll just mention quickly, and then you can steer me where you want, would be the Harry Potter fandom, Supernatural fandom, and I will shout out for the Xena Warrior Princess fandom, because they are. What's that? Yeah, you knew I would. Yeah, and I would, if it wouldn't be obnoxiously loud, I would do the Xena war cry. I will shout out for Xenites, because they, in many ways, were kind of at the front of a lot of this. So they're almost like kind of just when the internet was really getting up and going in terms of its role in fandom, and they've donated. I meant to look this up, so my apologies, but I can send this to you later. Tens of millions of dollars to charity. And one of the charities that they've been very generous to is a children's hospital in New Zealand. So they're almost like the fandom group to what we see now. I think most represented in the Supernatural fandom and Harry Potter Alliance, I think, are the most active in terms of the charity work. And then I would say up and coming fandom for this would be Winona Earp. So there's sort of this cyclical trending to these two that we're working on thinking about as well. Some of the activism around Flint, Michigan, which I know is not Detroit, but some of that is corresponding with fandom. My friend Anita has worked with water drops in Flint, and fans have been incredibly instrumental in supporting that, which is fascinating.
That's amazing.
Getting people fresh water, right? And she's now working in Puerto Rico, helping folks affected by the hurricane there. So it's not just that. It's Supernatural fans who sit online for hours in the wake of these hurricanes rescuing people. I interviewed fans who literally helped save lives after hurricanes Irma, Maria, and Harvey. Right, and they would choke up telling me about how they'd be on the line with someone helping connect them to emergency services because phone lines were down. So fans and fandom not only save our lives, right, on an individual basis when we see something that keeps us going and keeps us fighting and keeps us motivated, they save communities. They save people that may not even be fans of the show, because people feel like they want to help. They want to go out there and enact what they see in these media that speaks to them. They want to be the heroes they see, right? So there we go. Kind of brought it back there, but
no, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up in just another minute, but I'm really interested in the Flint activism. And can you send me a link of some of these organizations so if people want to help out with these situations, they can get involved?
Yes. Definitely we'll send you some. I would say the biggest ones to look for are Random Acts and the Supernatural Fandom. Harry Potter Alliance does all kinds of amazing work. They work with kids. This has been one of the biggest gifts to me. Like, I did this I started this project because I am a fan and I was fascinated by this as a sociologist, but it has really given me more than I ever expected. I've had some wonderful, amazing experiences. If you can go to a con and meet other fans, I recommend it. There are smaller cons like Squee and others that are less crazy expensive, and it's so enriching to meet other folks with shared interests. So get out there, conquer your anxiety and find the support you need. It's there for you. There's definitely a wonderful group of people who want to help and want to do good things.
Perfect. You nailed it.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Grr in Fangirl. If you enjoyed our show, be sure to visit our website, www.squeeprojects.com, where you can subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel for lots more squee as fuck pop culture content.